All right, let's get started. Today's project is a beautiful presentation for cash, certificates, or gift card. I am styling it for this weekend's holiday, Mother's Day, but you could use this for birthdays, Christmas, any occasion throughout the year. Today's project features the beautiful expressions in ink paper, and I agree. It is absolutely gorgeous. The colors are stunning. And let's see if I can share with you. I love the beautiful flowers and this alcohol. Hopefully you can't hear all that snap, crackle, and pop going on. So the colors, pale papaya, beautiful colors, that polished pink. And we've got also some of that alcohol effect coloring in evening evergreen, in polished pink. There's more, and we have just again that great alcohol-based look, coloring effect, and then classic gold and white stripes. And don't you know, Stampin' Up! Always has beautiful colors or beautiful patterns on both sides. So you are going to have a tough time deciding which side of the paper to use. As always, they are all gorgeous. And I'm going to be using the other elements from that suite as well. So let's get started. I'm going to call out what we need to create this gift card holder. And so let's start off with our card base. It's going to be pale papaya, and I have already pre-cut this. It's half of a sheet cut vertically. So the dimensions are 4 1/4 by 11. I am going to bring in my stamping trimmer. So I need a scoring blade. I'm going to push that dark cutting blade out of the way, and I'm going to use my light gray scoring blade. The first score I'm going to make is, let's just do it at 5 1/2. So if you think in terms of the 11 1/2 inch paper, I'm scoring it right in half. Now I'm going to take one of those half panels and score in half again. So half of 5 1/2 would be 2 3/4 or 2.75. I'm going to bring it over to 275 on the trimmer, and I'm going to score as well. And I am done with the trimmer and score. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take my bone folder, and I am going to fold first on that 5 1/2 inch. It's going to make it a lot easier. So I'm going to fold the card in half, take my bone folder and burnish that down. And now I'm going to create the pocket for the gift card holder. And all I'm going to do is fold that front panel again. And if you've scored and burnished on the 5 1/2 inch mark, this really is helpful to guide that little pocket. I am going to bring it in just below that score line because I don't want it to get too bulky when it folds over. So if I train the paper, I bring it in right below that fold. I'm going to go ahead and burnish. I now have created the pocket, and I'm going to go ahead again with the bone folder. I want to create those nice, clean, crisp folds. All right, so that is the foundation of this gift card holder. And again, you could store or gift cash or certificate in the same little pocket. I am also going to be needing a second cardstock piece of the pale papaya. This one measures 4 1/2 by 3 1/4, and I'm going to be needing a basic white with the same measurements. So 4 1/2, 3 1/4. Those are my cardstock pieces. I'm going to need a 1 by 3 inch scrap to stamp on, and I just need one, but I have a backup just in case I do a goof when I stamp. And let me bring in my beautiful paper that I'm using. So y'all know I'm using that Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper. I have 3 pieces of the Pale Papaya pattern that has that alcohol coloring effect. On the flip side is the gold and white stripe. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach these designer series paper to my card base. Let's get started with that. The first one measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. So just 1/4 inch smaller all the way around than the card base. And I am going to adhere that. I feel like I'm shouting without my microphone. Hopefully you can hear me well. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to take my Seal Plus and just add a little Seal Plus and secure this onto the card base. And I do like the Seal Plus as opposed to the Stamp and Seal. I seem to get along better with it. And I'm going to bring this into the inside panel of my gift card holder. I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. All right, so there's my border. I'm going to take 2 4 by 2 1/2 inch pieces of the same pattern paper. One's going to go on the inside of the pocket, and one's going to go on the outside of the pocket. So I'm just going to go ahead and secure those as well. Pale Papaya is one of the new in colors, the trend colors that Stampin' Up! Introduces every 2 years. So this Pale Papaya color is going to be with us for 2 years. It is absolutely beautiful. It's like a toned down peach color, and it coordinates nicely with a lot of the other Stampin' Up! Colors. It coordinates with other in colors and with some of the basic colors as well. Just gorgeous. Very springy, very summery, very feminine. And here we go. So these measure 4 by 2 1/2. One is going to be the outside of the pocket and one is the inside of the pocket. So here we go. This is going to be folded in. You can see our construction coming along. Now I'm going to take my tailored tag punch and make a cut right in here so the gift can peek through. The recipient will know that there's something in that pocket. So I'm just going to take this punch and I'm going to come in from the side, going to come into about where those angles turn. And there we go. So now I have a little notch in that slot. I'm going to apply some glue just along the edges. And let's see if I can use my fine tip. My fine tip dispenser right in here. I want to just put a little tiny trail of liquid glue. I want that pocket to be nice and secure, but I don't want it to be too wide. I need a narrow track because I want to be able to fit in my card or my certificate. I don't want the adhered edge to be too wide. So I've got some liquid glue in here. I'm just going to go ahead and burnish that closed. Make sure that I've got some weight on there. All right, so there is our basic construction right there. We've got the Pale Papaya with the pretty pattern overall and on the outside as well. Next, I am going to go ahead and start building the cover of my beautiful gift card holder. And I've got the Pale Papaya. This is, again, 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. I am going to cover it with a coordinating paper from the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper. This features that amazing flower in Pale Papaya. There's pretty gold built into the paper. It's absolutely stunning paper. And I'm just going to adhere these, create panels along the frame. So these patterned papers measure 3 inches by 1 5/16. And I know it's a tricky measurement, but that is just so that we have a little bit of space between the panels. So my trick is to adhere the 2 outside panels first. So I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch border in here. So I'm going to adhere one. I'm going to leave that middle one till last. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this end panel. And I'm using, again, my Seal Plus. And I'm going to have, again, about an 1/8 inch border at the top and at the right. So just trying to keep that kind of straight. Now I'm going to take my third piece, and this will be right center, so I have equal distance in the next between the other two panels. So a little bit of Seal Plus on the back, and here we go. There we go. That is where I'm going to build my beautiful focal point. And for that, I am going to be using one of the dies from the coordinating die set. There is a spray of flowers. It's absolutely amazing. It's about 3.5 by maybe 4 inches, a really detailed flower, a large flower, some smaller ones, some little posies, beautiful leaves, and just the fill to create a beautiful spray of flowers. So I pre-die cut this in basic white, but I'll tell you, I know that because this is such a delicate die, it's really hard to get the adhesive behind it. So one of my tricks for this is using the adhesive sheets. They are found in the catalog. They come in a set, and they are double-sided tacky sheets. So I attach first one sticky side to the back of a basic white clipping of paper or cardstock. Then I die cut that beautiful spray. And so what's going to happen is I am going to be able to adhere without applying any kind of liquid glue or any Seal Plus. It's going to go really easily. And so I've added, and I left part of it unadhered with, or how should I put it? I added that adhesive sheet only over part of the flower because I knew I wanted some of that flower to hang off, and I didn't want sticky behind that area that's hanging off of the background mat. So now I'm going to take that sticky off just by peeling it. So easy. And at this point, I want to make sure that my die is nice and clean. If there were any little pieces that didn't get kicked out, now is the time to remove them. So I'm just going to take my Pick a tool with my piercing tool exposed. So this side of the tool can either be the pick or it can be the spatula. Right now I have it on the pick, and I'm taking out any of those extra pieces that didn't get kicked out with the brush. I want my die cut to be nice and clean without any extra chads hanging. There we go. So this, I am going to adhere directly to this layer, and I'm going to have some of the large flower hanging off. That's why I didn't want any sticky there. And let's see, just like so. Watch how nicely this sticks without me having to have applied any adhesive on it. And when I flip over, you're going to see some of it is exposed, and that's exactly why I didn't want any of that adhesive sheet on there. So easy to stick now. It is on there with that adhesive without me having applied any liquid glue or any of the fine tip glue. So easy. So now I'm going to create my label. So this is a Happy Mother's Day card, and I'll share with you another adhesive that I'm using. Let's see, I can't remember what they're called. These are kind of like dimensional sheets, but they are one full thick adhesive. So what I've done is taken some of my, and in this case I used Magenta Madness pink, and I adhered cardstock directly to this layer. It's going to be popped up like a dimensional would be. Then I die cut using a die from this great bundle called A Wish for Everything. This bundle is a must-have for all kinds of occasions. It has the dies for cutting out a lot of the holidays that are needed, like mothers. So I've got mothers on the die, and I'm using the stamp set to stamp happy, and then we'll use the die and day. So I'm using the two stamps, happy and day. I'm using the die cut mothers. That's what I'm going to do to create my label. And this is why I needed a 1 by 3 inch scrap of basic white. So let's see if I can give this a stamp without muffing it up. It's kind of tricky. These are really, really tiny stamps. That's day, and this is on the 1 inch, 1 inch block, and that's happy, also on the 1 inch block. And I'm going to bring in my Magenta Madness ink pad, and I am going to stamp on this basic white, right? And I could use my mothers as a guide, so I know I want my mothers kind of in the center, and I want my happy right up here. So let's see, I'm gonna cross my fingers I'm not stamping crooked. There's happy, and then the mothers is going to be the die, and I've got day down here that I'm gonna put way at the bottom. So I'm pretty happy with that stamping. Again, that's in Magenta Madness on a scrap of basic white that measures about 1 by 3. I am going to now adhere the mothers that I die cut previously. And remember, I added that adhesive sheet behind it. So I've already got like a dimensional popped up on it. I'm going to peel that off. And this is kind of like the adhesive sheet, except I have the dimension. And I'm trying to peel off the backing, just like you would on a dimensional. And again, I'm going to want to make sure that any extra pieces are kicked out. There we go, and I'm going to flip that over. And I do have a couple of little pieces on the S here that need to be pulled out. A little bit tricky, they're going to be sticky. But now is the time to do it. You don't want to look at it after you've adhered it onto your paper and found that there are still little hanging chads in there. Let's see. And I've got one little stubborn piece in there. Let's see if I can get that out. This Pica tool is amazing. It is the tool for just about any little task that you have to do when crafting. I'm still trying to get out that little tiny piece. And got it. Okay, so this one I'm going to add at an angle. And let's see. Right through there. Voila. Now I'm going to add a little tiny shape to it, and here's what I'm going to do. Whoops, I do not have, there we go, there's my pencil. What I want to do is come in and measure on this little 1 inch. I'm going to come in about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. I'm just going to tick it right down, make a little tick. And same with the other side, and you'll see why I'm doing this. There is a punch that could do this. I find it can work just as easily with my paper snips. So what I'm going to do now is just come into the center. Whoops, I want paper cutting scissors. I pulled up my ribbon scissors. And I'm going to want to come straight into about halfway point. And what I'm going to do is snip from here to that 1/4 inch mark. And I'm going to do the same here from the center over to that 1/4 inch mark there. So now I've got my little fancy edging, and I'm going to come in the middle here and do the same, and over here as well. So now I've kind of balanced that off. I controlled it a little bit by marking it. You could probably eyeball it and get a good effect as well. So there's my label. I'm going to bring in some of that contrasting paper with the pretty gold and white stripe. And before I attach that, I am going to want to use some of that beautiful gold ribbon. and I'm going to attach it onto this little strip first. I found the easiest way to work with this ribbon is first take your glue dots and just apply it on here. So we're going to try and tame this ribbon. We want it to behave the way we want it to behave. And glue dots are the way to do that. So I'm just putting some glue dots right onto this Designer Series paper. And I'm taking a small strip of the gold ribbon, and I'll tell you that this gold ribbon measures about 9 inches. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to train it on this strip of coordinating paper. I want it to kind of like fold over. The glue dots are going to help it stay in place right where I want it to. Here we go. Right through there, and then the final one comes right up here. Perfect. I'm not going to worry about trimming off the edges. The fibers tend to fray, so I leave that until the last minute. What I want to do next is apply this label over top. So what I'm going to do again is put some glue dots behind the label. So an adhesive for every purpose. This is just so much easier to manage than the liquid glue when you're working with a tight space like this. And I'm going to add a couple of extra dots. I really want it to stick. Don't want it falling apart before I gift it. So I'm going to bring that in right around the middle, right through there. Perfect. Now I've got some more gold that I want to use, and I'm using the Expressions in Ink ephemera pack. These are those gold foil die cuts. They come in sheets. They're part of the suite, and each sheet, there's about 5 sheets. Each sheet has some frames, some leaves, some pretty accents that we can use along to add more shimmer and shine to our project. So I'm going to take these 2 die cuts, and they pop right out. They're already pre-cut in there. Just going to take those 2 leaves with a little bit of a spray in them. And I'm going to adhere these to my label. So again with the glue dots. And this time I'm going to go directly onto this nice little gold foil piece. And I'm going to place it right behind my label, coming right in here. And I'm going to take that second one and do the same. Apply a glue dot. And I'm going to come back in here. Whoops. Right through there. All right, so there's my label. What I'm going to do now is mount that onto my focal point, and I'm going to use some Seal Plus. I want that to stick right on there. Let's see if this will work. So the Seal Plus is a little bit more aggressive than the regular seal. It's a nice sticky adhesive. I'm going to flip that over, place that right like so. Absolutely beautiful. And we're just about there. I'm going to take some of those little flower centers that come from the stamp set. So there's a little trio of flower centers in the stamp set. I went ahead and pre-stamped them, and there is a coordinating die that will cut all 3 of those flower centers at once. So stamp, and then you cut, and you get all 3 flower centers in one pass. And I'm using 2 of them, and I am popping up that large center. I'm going to use a mini dimensional. It's a perfect size. And so now I've got just a little spray of this bright pink on the project, and I'm going to add that medium-sized one again with a dimensional. And this is going to come up right up towards the top. There we go. And I think I'm ready to adhere this onto my card front. Now, because this is going to be exposed on one side, I want to make sure I don't put any adhesive along this side of the focal point. So pretty much I want it on the half towards the left. I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue. Hopefully it's flowing still. There we go. And liquid glue is perfect. We want a nice aggressive adhesive that's a little bit forgiving. I'm going to put it right on the card front. And remember, half of that is going to be exposed, so we don't want adhesive behind the right side. And make sure that's got some nice contact and it's burnished down. So we're just about done. We have, of course, we want to have some space to write our message. So I'm going to take that 4.5 by 3 1/4 basic white, and I'm going to place that right in the center on the inside. And just using my Seal Plus. And this, I want it to be, I probably should have done this in the other sequence. I want it to be right behind this rectangle here so that it's hiding perfectly. So what I'm going to do, let's see if I can cheat. And I'm stacking it here. Again, I should have done this first. And when I flip over, it's going to land right behind that rectangle. And there you go. There is our beautiful presentation for a gift card, cash, or certificate. This is for Mother's Day using that Expressions in Ink suite. So I said, stick with me. I'm going to show you another application of a beautiful gift card presentation. This is one that I created for an upcoming class. On the 15th of May, I have an afternoon of stamping. We are going to be creating 2 sets of cards. Well, you have the option of 2 sets of cards. One includes the Mighty Kind stamp set and bundle that is featured in the occasional catalog, the January to June catalog. There is a cute stamp set called Ride the Range. It is kind of really Wild West. It's awesome for both cards for both men and women. This particular one, remember I said, you can use it for any kind of occasion. Here is a birthday card holder. So, hey, happy birthday. And we can insert the gift card here. And that coordinates with the Ride the Range bundle, which will be the feature of Take Your Pick Saturday, May 15th. There's a good luck card. There is a Life is a Journey, Enjoy the Ride, and a Thanks, That's Mighty Kind. So you're going to see these pretty colors. We've got, of course, some darks, browns, Cajun that are perfect for men. We have these pretty cards that have a little bit of coral pink to them. This pattern and these images actually come from the Cactus Medley bundle that's available in the same mini catalog, and it just lends a little bit more femininity to the Wild West look of the cards. So thank you card, just an all occasion card, a good luck, perfect for retirement, new job, graduation, whatever it happens to be, and a birthday card featuring that same go-to gift card presentation holder. So that is for the Mighty Kind class. And Take Your Pick second choice is the You've Got Mail featuring the Snailed It bundle. I absolutely love this snail. You've Got Mail. It's a perfect note card. We've got a hello card featuring the same colors. This is the Snailed It paper with those cute mushrooms. We have a You Snailed It, and this features the coordinating paper. So a lot of these are cut straight from the designer series paper. Snailed It and another hello card. Perfect note cards that are really happy and cheery. And again, these are part of the May 15th Take Your Pick afternoon. You can private message me if you are interested in either coming to an in-person class, or if you would like the Just Stamp delivered version, if you'd rather stamp in your own home. The class includes all the materials and directions on how to create the cards. The stamp sets and inks are not included, but you have access to those during the live in-person class. So 2 options. And again, there's our beautiful Mother's Day gift card presentation folder. If you have any questions, please post them here. I would love to read your comments, and that goes with whether you've joined me live or whether you